Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. Today is podcast day. Friday for me, but this will come out on a Saturday. We'll look at some what sold. First, right off the bat, we're going to look at what sold. I'll show you a breakdown of the fees of one item that sold. We'll get into discussion. We'll talk about, again, why I think resellers are leaving. Still a pretty big topic here on YouTube. It's mostly just YouTube resellers. It's not, there are other resellers that are leaving, but the ones that are getting the biggest splash in the pond are obviously those that have a following on YouTube. However, remember, I've mentioned this before, very small fraction of people that sell on eBay online have a presence in social media. Most of them do not. The biggest ones do not. So, some of the biggest ones, because I think Tech and Sports was a pretty big. He's semi-retired now, but the biggest clothing reseller, men's clothing, I believe, to be more specific. So we'll discuss a little bit about that. It's come to my attention that there is a very important document on eBay. You can access it on eBay. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you can only access it if you have a store subscription, but because it's in the actual tab for advertising, and it's a document that'll show you the different trends throughout the year, historical data, based on historical data. So we'll look at that. And then I think that's it. Yeah. let's jump right into it. Like the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. As of course, with this video, we're going to start off with a whiskey, a bourbon, Scotch, a Irish whiskey. And today it's going to be Russell's Reserve. So an American bourbon here, whiskey bourbon. 10-year-old. It's a 90 proof. Very, very good. It's very much on par, if you're familiar with Four Roses. Very much on par with Four Roses. If you enjoy Four Roses, you'll enjoy Russell's. But then again, if you get Four Roses, not really a point to getting Russell's because it's kind of the same in my opinion. But a really, really good bourbon whiskey. It's a little bit warm in my part of the world, which is San Jose, California, the Bay Area. And so, what do I chose one of these? Something not too hot. Something more of a, in my opinion, a spring, summertime bourbon. At least that's the feeling I get when I have Russell's. But check these out. I got these recently out of Goodwill. I'm trying to make sure they come out of there. Macallan. I got 2 Macallan glasses. Macallan Scotch whiskey. And if you were to resell them for the pair, it'd be $30 to $40. But as you can see, the shape of it, the big wide bottom, and then it comes to kind of a close on top. It's to kind of trap the vapors, so you get a good nosing of the whiskey, a good get those vapors up in your nose. Not too much because it can irritate your nostrils if you get it too much in there. Not so much the traditional. I still have one of these glasses out here. Not like this tulip style as we call it, or Glencairn style. Kind of the same, but not really. But nonetheless, it's still a great glass, and it's a Macallan glass, and I don't have any Macallan glasses in my collection, so these are in my collection now. And I also picked up some Glenlivet glasses as well, so those are in my collection as well too. The problem with this, with such a wide bottom, is the pour. You might get a little carried away with the pour because you're going to see it fill up here, but you can't. The base on this is a lot slimmer than the base on this one, so you can get carried away with the pour. So just be aware of that. We don't want to be irresponsible with our consumption here. Okay, that should be good enough. So a little bit of Russell's, very, very good. I'm already smelling it right now. Sweet cherry soda. Yeah, cherry or strawberry soda. Oh, it smells like a Shasta, strawberry soda. If anybody remembers Shasta, or like a. I made some, I had to go to the store, and we have a store that, has a lot of traditional Mexican ingredients, and I was making frijoles, beans, arroz, rice, and I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but, I order it when I see it on the menu, but it's machaca con huevos. basically shredded beef with eggs. So I made some, some shredded beef, or pretty much put it in the Instapot. Made that and everything, and then but over at the supermarket, the Mexican supermarket, they have the drinks, and I've been drinking them for years as a kid. They're super sweet, and they're called God, I can't remember the name now, but that's what this reminds me of. It's the thank goodness, for having my phone. It is. They are called Jarritos. So Jarritos, that kind of reminds me of a Jarrito right there. They all kind of taste the same. They all have different flavors, but ultimately they all just taste the same. They're just sugary carbonated drinks, and they're very, very good. And that's right here. That's all coming right out of this glass here of Russell's. Or another analogy is like those little Otter Pops. Yeah, Otter Pops. You get them in the little long plastic tube, and they have different flavors, but again, they all taste the same. Just nice sweet treats, sweet cold treats. That's exactly what is coming out of this glass of Russell's. Might not be the taste, but it is the smell. No, it's there on the taste as well too. Been a while since I've had a Russell's. It's really, really good. Really delicious. Okay. Let's get into the what sold. And I found my notebook too, and I found my pen. My pen's attached to my notebook. Okay. So this is what we'll look at, the kind of breakdown of the fees, how much something is sold for, ultimately how much gets deposited. We have Mercedes-Benz Operator's Manual. Keep an eye out for these manuals. People still look for them. It came with the leather pouch and everything. So this sold 2002. So definitely, if you find any of these, you want to pay too much. They don't necessarily all go for that much. It's a premium brand, of course. I mean, I think everybody knows Mercedes is a premium brand. And so this sold for, what did it sell for? $27. So $27 is what it sold for. The shipping was $12.36. This was heavy. It had all the pamphlets in it, so it was relatively heavy. I think it was just over 3 pounds. So you round up to the next pound, which is 4 pounds. So when you go to print your label, go to create your label, you have to round up to that next pound. If it's ounces, you round up to the next whole ounce. And so for a grand total of $41.33 is what they ultimately paid. So that's the order total. So then eBay obviously is going to take their fees from that total, and transaction fees, and the shipping label. So as you can see, the shipping label what I actually paid for the shipping label, I paid $8.78. How did I get it so low? Because that's like a $4, like $3 some change. Pretty good in my opinion. But I put this in a box. I decided to put it in a box because it's a bit of a premium product. And then the dimensions of the box are 975. It was one of my hat boxes. This fit perfectly inside one of those. And ultimately, it wasn't going to, necessarily, it wasn't going to throw my weight off at all. It was still within the 4 pounds. So there was no issue there. But when I plugged in the dimensions, the price came all the way down to $8.78. So you can save some more money that way shipping with the dimensions. So be aware of that. Now, I don't put the dimensions ahead of time. I do generic 12, 10, 10 usually, unless it's, unless one of the dimensions is beyond that, then I will account for that. But for the most part, most of the items, I'll put 12, 10, 10 for the dimensions. And then if it's going to make a difference, such as, I'm putting it in a poly bag, if it will only really make a difference if it's up over a pound. And technically, if it's really up over 2 pounds, then it's really, really going to make a difference. I think within the 2 pound range, you might drop it like maybe 20 or 30 cents, maybe not very much at all, depending upon where it's going. But once you get to those higher weights, then it kind of does make a difference, and it can help you save a little bit of money. But I don't put in the exact weights before. I do it after the fact, after the item's sold, and I packaged it up, and then I got the discount or an additional, savings there, or additional money in the pocket, money that goes towards my shipping profit, whatever you want to call it. But $25.90 ultimately is what gets deposited into the account. Whoa! Did I pass? Sorry about that. If that was too loud, but I thought I zoomed past the screen there. Okay, so fees. What are the actual fees? Now this category, and you can see the category right there, eBay Motors category is 15. Now this is with the increase in fees, which was, what was it, 0.35% was the increase. So 11.5% is what you get charged in final value fees. The top rated seller discount, you will only see that if you are a top rated plus seller, not necessarily a top rated seller, top rated plus. You need to be a top rated seller first of all. Then you have to offer at least free 30-day shipping. You can offer more if you want, but it's got to be at least free 30-day returns. Did I say shipping? I didn't mean shipping. I meant returns. So those free returns. And then you have to be able to ship your items out in at least one business day. You can do same day, but that's a little extreme. We're not Amazon here. So then don't forget the actual final value fee if your item sells for over $10.01. You can see the explanation right there. There's an additional 40 cents tacked onto that. So that 10% discount pretty much wipes that out. Hopefully, not on all orders, but hopefully on most of my orders. Every cent counts. So for a grand total of $4.68 is what the total fees were. Okay, so let's move on from that into the actual what sold. There won't be any breakdown here. I'll just tell you what they sold for and what they paid in shipping, and just assume that I made a little bit more on the shipping side of things. CDs. Now this was an interesting one because I've talked about this. You may see me in my videos pick up these packs of CDs if they're a good price. This one here was a little bit more on the higher end when it came to the buy-in price. I forgot exactly what it was. This will come out in a video. But if you see that color collection, that's what you want to look for with these CDs. Don't know about the DVDs because I didn't look them up, but I do know the CDs. Brand new. You got to buy these brand new. You don't want to buy these used. You definitely want to get them brand new in these packs of 50 or 100 or more. If it's not the color collection, try to get them for as low as possible, under $5 if you can, because they will sell. The 100 packs will still sell for around $20-ish or so. Maybe a little bit more, 25 DVDs, CDs, Blu-rays do even better if you can find those. But this color collection one went for $50, so way above average when it comes to blank media. $50 for this this pack. $15. It's heavy, so $15.61 is what they paid in shipping. This one in a box that was 12.86 in size. So really cool. Keep your eye out. Color collection. That's the key right there with these. And they're brand new. Okay, the moment I listed this little vase here, it immediately started getting views. I don't know, it got up to a lot of views and watchers and everything, and finally it sold. It took a little bit, in my opinion, based on the how many views and watchers it was getting, but it did sell for $18. So not crazy amount. We're not making a crazy amount of money on it, but we are making some money on this little vase. And $6.65 is what it sold for. And look at the title. This is not a name brand, nothing. It's not signed, anything, no sticker. Vintage art glass, which is how I typically start these out when they are not anything branded. Flower, because it's a flower shape. Vase, Murano. Style is another key to use. It's not an actual Murano, so you can't say really it's Murano, but it can say it's in the style of. It's pink, green, MCM, home. Where would you find this? On a table in a home, usually decor. So really cool. So I mean, it did sell relatively fast, yeah, but not as fast as I thought it would, based on the attention that it was getting on eBay. Okay, this was I ran a bit of a test with this. Saw this at Goodwill. I wasn't sure if it was going to be good or not. It was up there in price. It was up over $8. Oh, the vase went in $975, by the way. Um, and so I was like, all right, I'll buy one. They had several of them there. I'll buy one and see how it does. I don't want to get spend close to $100 on all these sheets and then be stuck with them. So let me give a test and see how it does. And it sold within 2 days. I did a short on this. Sears tough cord bedspread. So this is like, as you can tell by the little seam there, kind of like a little motel, hotel bedding. And it sold relatively quickly for $43.30. So pretty cool. Needless to say, I went back and I bought the rest of them. So they were all still there. So I went ahead and bought them all. And $7.79 is what the shipping was. And this one is just in a poly bag. There's nothing breakable about it at all. So this just went into one of my large unpadded poly bags. So really, really cool item. Vintage. Keep your eye for vintage bedding. It still does really well. You'll see other people on YouTube pick up vintage bedding. They'll go to estate sales, look for it. Vintage pillows. This stuff still does pretty well. Google Image is your friend. Use it if if it's not in a package like this. Use Google Image. It'll help you. Now this is really cool and right up my alley. And this is the Linux Penguin. Linux is an operating system, and what's the thing about Linux is an open operating system, so anybody can modify it and take it and add their own elements to it. There's a lot of companies that do this. It is an operating system. It's not an operating system that I am very, very familiar with. I'm familiar with Windows. When it comes to Linux, I know the basics. If I need any help with Linux, I do have a couple of Linux computers that I do run. Um, yeah, but I'm not that good with Linux at all. And so whenever I need help, I'll look it up, or I know people that can help me with Linux help. But it's a great, very versatile operating system. It has a following that is cult-like in nature, incredibly cult-like in nature, and some would say a little bit on the obsessive side when it comes to Linux. It's a great operating system. It's really, really good. Once you get the hang of it, some of these builds that they have out there, it reminds you of Windows. Incredibly stable. But nonetheless, the mascot sold, and I knew it would sell. $15.39 is what this pin or brooch sold for. The shipping on that was $5.62 on the shipping. So really, really cool item. One thing really quickly on not knowing things or having to look stuff up is I was watching someone's video today who people have said this person is an expert, and they come up they I don't know if they ever say they're really an expert, but then again, maybe they don't. But they kind of come across as an expert, and they have significant following on social media, and I was watching a video of them today, and they were talking about an item, and they were talking about the history of the item, and the reason why I know this, because I looked up that same exact item not too long ago, and I saw the same information that came up on Google, and they were reading it verbatim. And I was like, what the heck? Not that there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, be aware that everybody out here that's creating content, creating videos, no matter what it is, really, might not necessarily be an expert in what they say they are. They have to look stuff up too. I have to look stuff up too. Can't be an expert in everything. So just be aware of that. If you're watching these videos and you're like, man, I'm never going to be as good as this. They look it up. We look stuff up. We have one of the greatest tools in our pocket in this day and age is a cell phone. The modern cell phones, smartphones, have incredible amounts of power, and use it. Use that. Don't, I say this many times. Do not, um, try to measure yourself up to other people that you are watching. I know, YouTube is becoming the TV, of this era, and many people are developing, devout followers on on YouTube here, and just be aware, don't try to measure yourself up to any of these people out there. They're doing some of the same stuff that you need to do, that I need to do, that everybody needs to do, is look stuff up. I just wish they would quote their sources. In high school, when you do essays, you can kind of get away with that without doing that. But in college, you definitely, well, some people do get away with it, and when you hear about it, it like makes the news sometimes. I think there was somebody not too long ago who was accused of plagiarism, and they had to update like their what is it, like reference pages at the end, where you put down where you got your information from at the end of your essays. So somebody, I think, had to go back and update that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, not that it's, I don't know, is it morally wrong or ethically wrong? I don't know. I don't personally, I would like someone to be like, oh yeah, I had to look this up. Just be genuine. That's the word I'm looking. Just be genuine about things. All right. Either way, maybe they have said it in the past, and I just never caught it in a video before. But whatever. Linux is something I am not an expert in, but I do know Linux stuff, and I know people are, fanatics when it comes to Linux. And the Bible. More people that, another item that has a following. But these electronic Bibles, as seen on TVs, I have never found one in the box before. I always find them loose at the flea market, so I'm always hoping they work. And usually they do work. And this one was brand new in the box. I found it at Goodwill. It wasn't very much at all. Oh, the little Linux thing went in one of my small poly bags. I gotta measure that size out. I think I keep saying that. It's like 8 by 6 or 4, 8 by 6, I believe, size poly bag. So it's my smallest poly bag that I do use. Padded. It's padded, by the way. So it's the first time I ever found it new in the box. Loose, I could sell it for around $15. In the box, it goes up for over $20. You would think it would go for a little bit more, but nah. It went for $21.94. And the shipping on this one was $7.43. And this was in a padded poly bag. I did wrap it once in a bubble mailer. I wrapped it once in bubble wrap, then put it in the padded poly bag. But really, really cool. Keep her out for these things. If you find them loose, around $15. If you find them in the box, up over $20. And the next item I think is a really cool one. Yes, it's a really, really cool one. Some vintage party bags, Star Wars. I guess the first thing I should mention about Star Wars is there was a little bit of Star Wars news this week. If you are interested or follow Star Wars stuff or are a fan of Star Wars, the president of Lucasfilms, initially rumors were coming out that she was going to retire this year. Now, if you don't know, if you don't follow, the president of Lucasfilms came on when Disney, well, was already there with George Lucas, and then when Disney bought it, she just became the president of Lucasfilms, basically in control of Lucasfilms and what happens with the Star Wars franchise. Well, many people, including myself, have not been happy with the direction that things are going in with the series. There have been certain bright spots here and there. Rogue One was an incredible Star Wars story. Loved Rogue One. Mandalorian, of course. The Mandalorian. But then season 3 is kind of like, eh. I'm a huge Ahsoka fan, so I did love the Ahsoka series that came out. I know a lot of people had their criticism about it, but I'm a huge fan of that, of Ahsoka, and also, the mysteries of the Force, and, the other one, like the Acolyte, that was garbage. Poor story. I had so much hope for it, because I was hoping it would dive into some more mysteries of the Force, some more unique Force users, but it fell flat with a poorly written story. And but either way, those are the most recent ones. But either way, she announced she was going to retire, and then they interviewed her yesterday or the day before regarding the rumors, and she said, well, there's always been talk of me retiring, but I'm not really retiring. Maybe not, maybe so, who knows. When you get into the corporate world, and I've been there, it's very, I'll tell you what, it's very much like in school, like you're in high school. All these executives and chief executive officers, vice presidents, whatever. It's basically a popularity contest. It's just like in high school. So don't think these people are any different. Again, don't measure yourself up to these people. It's the same thing as if you were in high school. It's, when I got there, I was never a president or a chief operator, but I worked with a lot of them. Worked with a lot of founders, a lot of people trying to get their companies off the ground. In the tech space, that is, because I'm a tech guy. But what was I going to say? I was going to say they're just like everybody else. They're just like everybody else. Just like it's a popularity contest. It's not like it's kind of, it was kind of when me and my friend first got into the whole corporate world, and we're like, this is it. This is what we've been going to school for, to jump into this. The maturity level is just like in high school and college and all that stuff. So it's even less than college, in my opinion. And in college, you're like grind. Well, not everybody, but you're always grind, got to get done. But it's more like in high school, It's like everybody's having a good time. Like, okay. Either way, she's not retiring, not necessarily retiring. Who knows? But nonetheless, we sold these Star Wars gift bags. $10. Don't need that much. $10, 32 cents is what they sold for. Collection of 7 of them. So just, it's profit. It's money. You can find these things relatively cheap. It's just paper products. Paper stuff still sells. Keep your eye out for it. What's next? Okay, these I found at Goodwill. And these are, the Bowflex. You select their dumbbells. You select the weight you want. And I found the dumbbells with several weights attached to it still. These were the last ones I had. And it's sold in a pack of 2. Sold for $37.88. And $11.51 is what they paid in shipping. But definitely look out for these Bowflex ones, and you can piece it out. And that's what I did. I took off the handles, sold the handles, took off all the individual weights, and sold those off as well too. So made even more money than if I would have just sold them all together. So definitely, part stuff out. It's stuff like this. It's easy to take apart. It was relatively easy to take apart. Keep your eye out for it. Sometimes you can make more just by separating things out and make it easier on yourself as well too. If I would have, sold all these together, it would have been incredibly heavy, probably up over $20 in shipping. It would have had to go in a large box, which I don't really carry boxes, probably sturdy packaging material. So the fact that I broke it up into all individual pieces made it so much easier. These weights went in padded poly bags. Obviously I wrapped them with some bubble wrap beforehand, then padded poly bags. And so really, really cool items. Keep your eye out for them. Oh, the bags also, the Star Wars bags, padded poly bags. Padded poly bag, not bags. Then use multiple bags. Remotes. I do sell remotes. I do look out for remotes from time to time. If it's cheap, you don't want to pay too much for remotes because they generally will sell for around 10. They're generally long tail items. But occasionally there are some that sell pretty quickly, and they do sell for some good money. And in my opinion, $24.79 is that's a good price. That's good money to get back on a remote. So definitely keep your eye out. The Kenwood remote unit, and then you can see the model number and everything there. But $24.79 You know, like hats. You know, if hats go up over $20, it's really really good in my opinion. $5.80 is what they paid in shipping, and this went in a small padded poly bag. So really really cool. I'll always try to feature items here that I think that might be kind of obvious that are resellable, but that go for above average. That sell for above average. And I'm going to show you a Pokemon character that I'm kind of curious about. Okay, Barbie photo album. Vintage from the 90s. I've talked about photo albums before, photo frames, all that stuff. It still sells incredibly well. Keep your eye out for this stuff. This thing sold for $23.44. Large is one of my larger padded poly bags. $6 and no. $7.67 is what they paid in shipping. But just a really cool item, vintage Barbie 90s. Well, you can see I put 90s in the title there, and photo albums. All not necessarily everybody's keeping everything on their phones. Some people are printing stuff out. There's a resurgence this year of digital cameras. So cameras are making a resurgence. In the news, I mean, if you follow digital news, stuff like that, tech, hardware, Canon is going to be releasing a new point and shoot camera this year that everyone's kind of excited about in the photography world. So, photography's still there. People still love it. People still buy it. Look out for it. So keep your eye out for things like this. They do resell really well. Another good keyword to use also is scrapbook as well too. You could use scrapbook in here. Okay, this last one, or not last one, I got a few more, but either way, Pokemon character. Now, typically, I don't, feature these large, items that sell for a lot of money, crazy amount, because they're kind of like, the cliche catching lightning in a bottle. They do happen. The more and more you're out there, you'll find these huge, huge profitable items. But you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta put yourself out there. But really, really, where we make all of our money is on all these items I'm showing you before all this. But I was kind of curious as to why this sold for so much. It didn't sell like insanely fast to make me believe that I priced it wrong. But it sold. It took about 3/4 of a day. $95 is what it sold for. $5.65 in shipping is what they paid. And what was kind of unique about this piece is on the tag, because they still had a tag with it. It's Pokemon Center, Hiroshima, Japan. So, and the comps weren't really 100% clear. I think there was one that sold for 120 or 130, and then there was some other ones listed unsold. So it wasn't quite 100% clear really what it would go for. So I kind of copied the listing that sold and got it sold. Sold quickly. I mean, quickly overall, but not enough for me to be like, oh, you know what, I totally undersold that. So if you are a Pokemon collector, Pokemon person, because I'm not, Pokemon came out, I was already in high school. If you are a Pokemon person, Pokemon collector, tell me what's so special about this. Because I have no idea, other than him wearing a costume of another Pokemon character. Is that what it is? Is the fact that it came? I don't know if it even came. I'm pretty sure maybe it came from Hiroshima. It still was made in China, even though, it's a Pokemon Center, Pikachu, Hiroshima, Japan. So let me know if you know what is so special about this Pikachu character. Tell me in the comments. This one, I put this in a box because it was close to $100. So I'm going to put it in a box. I'm going to make it look a little fancy. This was a cool item that I've had laying around here. I kind of use it, kind of don't use it, but I'm in a cleaning up period right now in my collecting whatever desk life. I do spend a lot of time at this desk editing videos, listing items, and so this white noise machine, I was like, let's get rid of it, sell it. It's just sitting here. It's rechargeable, portable, Bluetooth. $20.12 is what it sold for. $10 even is what the shipping was on this item. Went in a padded poly bag. But typically I find the other ones, they're round. I forget what the name of them are. I'm trying to remember the name right now as we speak, but I don't really remember. I don't have any right now, but they're just a little round. You'll see them from time to time. They look like little round UFOs. I mean, if I find another one, I'll make sure to point it out in one of these videos. But sound machines, white noise machines do really well. You just have to find the right brands. Some of them just don't. Like there's a mattress company I see quite often that doesn't sell very well at all. So you just gotta look up the brands when you find them, and some of them do really well and they sell really fast too. We do sell jewelry. Even though you'll see me feature jewelry too much, we do sell jewelry. The problem is, trying to find the right pieces. Jewelry is tough, in my opinion, especially if it's not fine jewelry. And by fine jewelry, I mean silver, gold, platinum, diamonds, gemstones, fashion jewelry, which is all your like gold-plated stuff, non-precious metals, non-precious stones. It's a tough sell, but if you get something really cool like a bee, like insects, animals, those things usually can you can bring in a customer with one of those styles. A bumblebee brooch. This is a Monet, so Monet is pretty well known in the fashion jewelry area, vintage fashion jewelry. There is modern pieces as well too of Monet. If you ask me, the market on Monet is getting a little too flooded. Everyone keeps talking about it. So what happens? The market starts getting flooded. So you got to start branching out, looking for other pieces that maybe are not Monet, but are of similar quality and or maybe eras. But this is really, really cool. Sold for $23.31. Small poly bag, lightweight, less than an ounce. They paid $5.80 in shipping on this piece right here. But really cool. It's a bumblebee. It's a Monet. It's vintage jewelry. Cool piece. Oh, I was trying to read what I wrote here, but I couldn't understand. It's a dog, a bulldog. So Best Ever is the brand. New to me brand. I didn't know anything about this brand. But really, really cool stuffed animal. Found it at Goodwill. Resold for above average when it comes to stuffed animals. Way above average, in my opinion. Because $20 would be a good selling price for a plush. But this was $31.33, up over $30. That's really good in my opinion when it comes to plush, because 99% ain't worth it. So really cool. Keep your eye out for Best Ever. Not sure they do other animals. I don't think other animals do as well as this bulldog. So keep your eye out. Came with a little zipper jacket. Really cool piece. There you go. Just went in a poly bag, unpadded poly bag. Okay, now we're gonna go into discussion phase. Thinking maybe I should do, what part should I do first? I'm gonna stop here and then I'll decide what part of the discussion I'm gonna go into first. I don't know where my mouse is, so I can't stop it. I can't see the thing. Where's my thing at? That's so weird. Okay, here it is. Okay, so I decided to start with this. I had to rearrange the screen a little bit, as you can see. But this is the 2025 marketing trends, and eBay provides this document for anybody that is basically has access to the advertising tab, and you will need to have a store subscription to have access to that tab. And then you can scroll all the way down the bottom. It's all the way on the bottom, and you'll see a little square, a little rectangle saying 2025 marketing trends, and you click on it, and it'll give you this document here. And this may help you in knowing when certain categories are hot and when certain categories are not. So if you are in certain categories, you'll kind of know, okay, this isn't going to do well here on this month. Maybe I want to change gears, or maybe I just want to stick with it. Or if you sell everything, you'll be like, oh, you know what? I got a storage unit full of this stuff, and maybe I'll go ahead and start listing these in this coming month because this is what it looks like. And this is all based on past data, selling data that eBay all has. Obviously, January, February, we're already done. So it gives you the holidays. But as you can see here with the colors, model freight cars, look at that. That's coming over from the previous year into January, February, looking like it's continuing on through March there. A little sliding thing goes on. So you see a plus, what is that, 15? I can barely see right now. I can barely see what I'm looking at. Plus 15% increase. Oh, so from November to March. And then Dungeons and Dragons miniatures sees a uptick of about 12% from between January and March. And look at the dollhouse furniture. Now I sold a lot of dollhouse stuff in January, even though it was a bit of a slow month. A lot of dollhouse stuff did sell, and you're looking at a 10% increase there. What happens in March? Gold coins start popping off. Gold. So you have gold coins. Get them up and listed right now. You're gonna see them start to fly out. I think that's his 18%. Oh, I should look over here on this side. 18%. That's pretty wild. I mean, it's gold too. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're all gold. So you're looking March to April. So if you are into the coin market, you might want to, maybe all coins, not just gold, maybe silver as well too, might do really well. And come March and April, and then scrolling down, sticking with these 3 months here, we see electronics seeing a little jump at 9% between January and March. And then we see February, March is when we have the internal hard drives. So kind of strange. I don't know why. Being someone that's involved in tech with so much, I don't know why internal hard drives would suddenly just start to spike. And 10% is pretty big in come February, March. Bizarre to me. I don't know why, but they do, apparently, based on historical data, they do. Ink cartridges, January through March, look at that, plus 13%. And I sold the last pack of ink cartridges I had a few weeks ago. And so then we have fashion. And a lot of people are into a lot of people sell fashion, clothes, all that. You're looking from October the previous year until February, an increase of 35% when it comes to coats and jackets. Why? I think that's pretty obvious. It's wintertime. Women's sweaters, look at 40% increase in women's sweaters. And then, what else did that say? Oils and creams. Why do you think oils and creams? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I deal with this problem, dry skin. You would think with more moisture in the air, you wouldn't have so many issues with dry skin. But during the wintertime, maybe it's because of the wind, whatever, skin is dried out. So, yes, we always have creams, lotions, oils, all scattered throughout the house, including the car, just in case. You never know, because, the moment you think twice, all of a sudden your skin's starting to, the moment you forget about it, your skin your skin starts cracking and everything. You're like, it hurts, So moisturizing during the winter time is essential. Even though there's plenty of moisture in the air during the winter, it doesn't get into the skin. And then we're looking here March through July. We're looking at dresses. Of course, we have spring, summer. Men's athletic shoes starts plus 11% come March. Obviously, spring is coming. People are starting to get out, better weather. Even though we haven't had such a great winter, in my opinion. Women's swimwear starts to go up 40%. Why? Because we're starting to enter that season. Kind of obvious when it comes to clothing, which is why, clothing can be quite hard to find, what sells for good money, but it's very, very easy just to follow the seasons. Home and garden, January through March, vacuum cleaner parts, accessories, you're looking at 10%. I'm not going to go through all these, but look at scrapbooking. I'll look at the big ones here. Scrapbooking pops off at 25% January through May. I didn't know that. I'm not big into scrapbooking. If you are, you let me know. Why is scrapbooking beginning of the year into the middle of the year? Why is that such a hot thing? If you're familiar with any of these trends, light bulbs even has a thing right there. It's kind of weird. Lawnmowers, of course, that's pretty obvious. What's this other category? Parts and accessories. You have snowmobile and skis. Okay, let's move on down here. Middle of the year. Right here, come April, WWE wrestling starts to pop off. Come May, autograph NBA jerseys in May. That's a bit odd to me. 12%. Let me see what else sticks out to me here. June through August, autograph MLB baseballs that could just follow the MLB season. That's usually when it's in full swing right there. Star Wars miniatures, 30%, come June. I know May the 4th is right before June. But June through August, all of a sudden, Star Wars stuff starts flying. Star Wars miniatures, to be more specific. Weird. Just the miniatures go 30%. Crazy. What do we have in electronics? So come April, we start seeing keyboards and mice bundles. That's strange. The bundle, but I'm pretty sure the individual pieces as well too. We're seeing a 21% increase. That is great. 23% for smart homes come April through June. Why? People are probably turning up that AC now. Probably still trying to get it's getting warmer. I don't like the warm. 21% for more. Okay, that's a duplicate. Keyboard and mouse bundles, 21%, and that's just a duplicate. Maybe somebody messed up on this chart here. Digital cameras, like a plus 13%, May through August. Smart glasses, okay, 30%. That's huge. That's a big 30% is huge. Look at this right here. In fashion, we have a 40. I can't see that, everyone. 48% come April through August. So men's shorts, if you are in the fashion category, if you sell clothes, look at this, April through August, which means in right before that, starting now, month of March, start getting your stuff listed, so that way it's all prepped and ready to go come April all the way through summer. 48, that's nearly a 50% jump. Women's swim, again, going hand in hand almost with shorts, swimwear, women's swimwear, 40% jump right there. Huge. These are huge percentage huge percentages. Home and garden, scrapbooking continues to dominate at 25%, nearly dominate at 25%. That's strange. Obviously 15% for pool stuff, because we're getting into pool weather there. Let's say walks. What? People are all of a sudden doing stir fries? What the heck? 13%? That's weird. That's I've always wanted a wok. I've never purchased a wok, but I don't really have a stove that can accommodate a wok. But I know they make some with like a flat base, and then they kind of fan out really high, like a traditional wok. And then you see parts and everything there. Of course, like May through August, AC, air conditioning stuff. Okay, then we have July, August. We have trading card sets. Autograph stuff continues. There's that Star Wars miniatures. The miniatures, I don't know. Maybe it just means like action figures. What do we have over here? Come September, CCG sealed booster boxes. Okay. Digital cameras continuing to carry through through the end of summer. Fiber cables. Look at that. Fiber cables come 14% come September. Fiber cables. Calculators. Obviously, this falls in line with right beginning of the school year. Those TI calculators. Look at that. Look at that boost. 67% in calculators. That's wild. I mean, even low-end calculators, if you can get them for the right price, can do pretty well. Look at that. I'm pretty sure it's all calculators, but we all know about the TI calculator, but there's a lot of other calculators that do incredibly well. Financial calculators. Look at that percentage. 67% boost starting in August. And then smart glasses. Smart glasses. Strange. And then we have in fashion, we have dresses continuing there, men's shorts, obviously. And then as we get towards the end of the year, what do we have here? August, September, brushes and applicators, makeup products start picking up there. Women's sweaters. Okay, so we're getting towards the end of the year here. So end of 2025, we're seeing the uptick in sweaters again, 40%. Then home and garden. What do we got? We saw the walks. Ribbons and bows. Why? Probably more because of end of the year stuff going on. And then parts and accessories, or anything weird here like golf cart enclosures. Okay. Interesting stuff here. Definitely something to take a look at. If you have not seen this document before, dive in there, look at it. Again, you have to have a store subscription to have that. I don't think you can get it without the store subscription, in my opinion. But then again, you can see it here. You can see what I'm seeing. I'm bringing it to you. And then November, we saw this back at the beginning. The model freight cars, it was carrying over into the new year. Autograph NFL, excuse me, autograph NFL helmets. Why 48%? Because that's right around the start of the football season. One of the reasons why I was in my early late 90s, early 2000s into cards and memorabilia. Very, very easy to tell what's going to go up in price, what's going to go down, how well, when the seasons hit, how well players are going to do, just don't get hurt, and the stuff starts going down. So kind of easy to gauge like how much something is going to go for, if you have to go for more of a premium, less of a premium. It's all based on performance. And when baseball's in season, baseball stuff start to sell. Football stuff is going to sell. Basketball stuff is going to sell, and it's shown here in the data. It's shown here. What else? Is there anything else that's just wild here? It's just crazy. We're seeing some of these carryovers from the earlier. So as you can see, the jackets, sweaters start to pick up. Here's the first one. Earrings and fine jewelry start to pick up November, December. Why? The holidays. And then home and garden, interesting. Nothing really that gets slaps me across the face here. Remote entry and start systems, October through January, 60%. Maybe because everybody wants to warm up their car. Everybody wants to get inside a warm car, first thing in the morning, and the temperature's gonna start to change around that time of year. So very, very interesting document. To look at the trends. This is all based on historical data, past data of sales that have occurred on eBay. So, something else to take a look at. More tools at our disposal to help us make sales. So, pretty cool. So, marketing trends. If you have not seen this, look at it. If you don't have access to it, if you're just part-time, you don't have access to this advertising, you see it here. You see on my video. I'm bringing it to you. But pretty cool. 2025. Let me know. Have you seen this before? Are you aware of this? It's all the way on the bottom of the page if you have the advertising tab. So if you don't scroll all the way to the bottom, you're not going to see it. Otherwise, let's continue on with the discussion. I got to change the screens around here. Okay, welcome back. Well, welcome back from me. But let's continue the discussion regarding reselling. And, I really wanted to touch again on, resellers leaving the space. And it's 2025 is definitely going to be a tough year, but also a bottoming out year. I definitely feel that we are finally reaching the bottom of the artificial spike in e-commerce that was created by the pandemic. I was reading an article by Nike. They experienced the same exact thing that we experienced, this huge, everybody did in the online space, this huge spike in sales and profits. And you thought you could list anything and it would get sold. Everybody was experiencing it. Large companies, tiny companies, one-man operations were experiencing this. And then we're all experiencing the fall. Now we are all experiencing the fall. And Nike cut ties with a lot of partnerships that they had made with people in, like Foot Locker, places in malls and other stores, to go all in on e-commerce and direct to consumer. Well, it's hurting them now, and they're having to rebuild all those partnerships. So, while we're not operating on the same level as a large business, something like Nike or anything like that, we still need to find those ways to adapt and change, with what we're, with the environment that we are facing. And what are we facing? I think we're facing like the bottoming out. We're facing where we should have been if there had been no pandemic. I definitely feel that, it is the 2025 is the year that we start to see growth come back. And it won't be fast. It's not going to be crazy growth. We're not going to like just take off. It shouldn't take off. If it does take off, that means there's a problem. It should be nice, slow, steady growth up. Um, and it doesn't mean, that we could just be buying whatever and listing whatever. We still got to be finding great items to resell. And I definitely think a lot of people, because of this downturn, um, they started to lose the drive. You lose that fuel for it, for what we do in reselling. You know, um, there is definitely, I believe, in everybody a realist and a idealist as well too, and the scale or the balance between the two, can right now for many be tipped into the realist side of things, like dealing with everyday life, which you have to deal with. Bills, increased food costs, increased supply costs. You start to see, in your selling on eBay or wherever you sell at, start to see increased cost, increase of items wherever you source that, increase in shipping supplies, and then you start to see, man, it's not even worth it anymore. I just might as well go get a job. I got to pay bills. I got to do this, and that could be the case right now. But I definitely think it's important to also not neglect the idealist part as well too, the dreamer, the person that is always fantasizing. It's not good to get lost in that, but it's good to still have that to continue to hopefully drive you to success, because you can't get bogged down with with the real life all the time. It could be kind of depressing if you're constantly stuck there. But the drive, I think what a lot of people are lacking if they are quitting is the drive, is they were fueled by profits. They were fueled by the ease of how easy it was to invest a buck, $2, $3, resell it for 10, 15, 20, and then keep duplicating that, and throw it up there. It didn't matter what it was, just put it up and it'll get sold. And that was fueling them. And now that fuel is lost, and they need to find a new fuel, a new way to run that engine. Um, and so, can you run on hopes and dreams? Definitely possible. Definitely possible. I think it is possible, to run that engine on hopes and dreams. And I mean, you look at these people that created I can think of probably one of the biggest of all is Walt Disney. That fantasy, that dream, just willed it to be. That's one unique person. So I'll say that we're not all Walt Disney around here. I'm pretty sure there were plenty of people telling him he couldn't do it. But we need to find that on a smaller scale, of course. Maybe a larger scale as well too. Some people do have the drive to push themselves to a larger scale, but at least on a smaller scale, we kind of need that. We need a little bit of that dreamer, that fantasy, to something to strive to, and not get so bogged down with just everyday life. Stop and smell the roses, stop and enjoy things. um but liking the drive, is really, really the main thing. Is just that maybe they never had the drive to begin with. I don't think the pandemic created artificial fuel for that drive that was, like I said already, it was not supposed to be there. It was not supposed to be there in the first place. And I've had great success selling online before the pandemic. I've been doing this for well over 2 decades now, since, well, we're in their 26th year, um, buying and selling online. And That was small, you know. It was part time, very part time. It was pretty much in the beginning. It was just to fuel the hobby, fuel the what we wanted, our wants, not our needs, but our wants. Had a full time job. I had you know, I was doing computer IT consulting stuff like that. I was also going to school, so I was always busy all the time. Um, and so we just go, 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 and you know, we enjoyed at the time. We enjoyed sports cards. We enjoyed memorabilia. We enjoyed, you know, baseball, football. We enjoyed going to games and all that. And you know, we were going to card shows, collectible shows, and buying, selling, buying online, selling online, buying online to sell locally at shows and all that. Were we getting rich off of it? No, maybe we could have focused it on a bit more and turned it into a full-time thing. But like I said, we all had, you know, regular job. We all were thought we were going to be, you know, big-time computer engineers at the time. We were going to, you know, we all lived in Silicon Valley, so we're all gonna, you know, who knows, work for some startup or something. Um, Obviously that, you know, didn't really happen. Except right, you know, I still maintain my employment at a hospital, so obviously I did not join up with a startup. So, but uh, that you know, that was kind of the beginning of what we did, you know, and yeah, we made decent money doing it. It was pretty good for at the time. We were able to continue doing what we were doing. As far as, you know, being able to buy merchandise, go to these shows, have a little bit left over, supply, you know, add to our own hobby and our own collection, as I should say. And it worked. It worked. It worked well for us. And then when it came time to shift gears and go full time, I already had all that in my. You know, I was still buying and selling computer parts. Well, I wasn't doing sports or anything like that. I was doing computer parts, buying and selling gaming computers. I was still into toy. I you know, went to collectible toys, Star Wars, Marvel, all kinds of action figures, buying, selling, buying them locally, selling them online for obviously more money. You know, went from, you know, doing about $1,000 a month to having to do a few $1,000s a week now at this point. That's what we have to do. So, um, so it's working out, and you know, one thing that, you know, you really, you know, need to do is get efficient. You got to get as efficient as possible right now. Um, you know, tighten up everything. If it is you're buying, you know, what are you buying? You know, tighten things up a bit. Are you still buying stuff that you think you can just throw up and it can sell? You know, if you have to look at sell through rate, look at sell through rate. Look at the data. You have the cell phone in your pocket. You have all the information that you need. Google Image is getting way better, so that can, you know, really help you. It's a tool in your tool belt to help you identify items that can resell, that you can make money on. So get out there, look for still look for great items, no matter what. Good times, bad times, you still gotta be able to find great items, and get them up and listed. And yeah, hopefully you find success. I know, you know, not everybody is necessarily looking to try to do it full time. I know majority of people, and when I, you know, the last time I saw some of the numbers as far as, you know, sellers and stuff, sellers and buyers on eBay. Majority, and by majority, like a huge percentage of people that sell on eBay are part timers. They're barely even part time. You know, they're not even like part time people. They're just maybe more hobbyist style people on the platform. Make up the majority of sellers that are on there. There's actually very few people that do this full time and full time successfully. Because it's not, nothing is easy, nothing is going to be given to you, nothing, you know, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, and you know, while it may look easy, while a lot of people make it look, you know, effortless, you know, it took a lot of hard work. Me, well over 2 decades. I'm still learning. Um, well over 2 decades to get to the point. You know, I get people asking me when I'm out and about, you know, how do you know? How do you know what's valuable? You know, how do you look stuff up? Because sometimes I spend, you know, 15, 20 minutes looking up something. I'm like, You know, you just have to be, even with the tools all in our hands, you know, even with the eBay app, they're looking up comps, they're looking up, you know, they're Google imaging things. They still can't get it that quickly. I mean, some people have it, some people don't, you know, and either that or they're just starting out and you just don't have the confidence yet. And sometimes it takes time. Some people have it like right away, some people don't. And sometimes, you know, majority of the time you just got to get started. Really, you just got to get started. You got to get a feel for it. Yeah, I've talked about many times how, you know, how can you identify what's good quality glass, what's good quality pottery? Because I don't know all the names of everything. I don't know all the, you know, I know the major names, major, you know, brands, the things to look out for. But you know, when I'm just scanning a shelf, I'm not. I don't know. Like, yeah, I've talked about this before. I'm going for the look first. I'm looking to see, like, you know, what you know, the clarity of a glass, the smoothness of the glass, you know, how well it's made. Then I go in for the feel, and I'm like, okay, that actually feels like a good quality item. That feels like nice glass. You know, there's a difference between like glass like this and glass like even like bottle glass. There's even a difference between this. There's some glass that feels like plastic. I felt some glass. I'm like, man, that really feels like a plastic, but it's not. It's glass. Um, and so you gotta get out there. You gotta get out there, you know, get a feel for items. You gotta learn the eBay app. You gotta learn how to look up what has sold, what is currently listed. Gotta be able to get familiar with Google Image. Sometimes your first image is not going to work, and you gotta do it a second time. Sometimes you take the item, put it in your cart, look for a clear spot to set it up, and take a nice, good, clean picture so you can look that thing up. So you got to do the research, and I'm always trying to do research when I'm out and about. Something I don't know, I'm looking it up. If I feel it's good quality, I'm going to look it up. And we are now out of. Our glass is now empty. Now I have water. Don't be careful too. Don't overdo. You know, don't overdo it. I don't drink every night. Just if anybody's wondering, I don't drink every night. It's not something. It's not a regular thing. Um, you know, it's actually, you know, this bottle probably had for at least a year and a half. So it takes me a while. I mean, it's not easy. You just need a little bit, just to enjoy your evening, enjoy a Friday evening, and then usually top it off with some water. Or the show, what would they call, Bar Rescue, and the guy would always, you know, I guess in the one of the commercials, he would always, for I think it was for a beverage company of some kind, and he would always say, you know, have, you know, a cup of ice water in between drinks for a better evening. So yeah, definitely make sure you drink plenty of water. Otherwise, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed the what sold, what I talk about, what I discuss. I hope the 2025 or the trends calendar, I hope that helps, and definitely look it up if you have access to the advertising page. Scroll all the way down the bottom. You'll see it on the bottom. It'll be a little rectangle. Otherwise, see you in the next video. Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.